Okay, so hello everybody and welcome back to GA Fan TV. I'm your host Aaron Prendergast and I'm delighted to be joined here today by John McMahon from the Jmac Podcast. We're continuing on with our season previews, of course, and this time we're going to be discussing Cavan, of course. Cavan last year, of course, Ulster champions, a famous Ulster Championship season for them. Obviously, surprisingly enough, they're down in Division 3 alongside the likes of Derry, Longford and Fermanagh. But I suppose before we jump straight into that, I suppose first of all, John, the GAA season is not long away now, and I suppose with all the controversy in other sports at the moment, I think it's great to have Gaelic games now only about, a week or so away?
Brilliant, Aaron, brilliant, and I'm delighted to be on the show again. Yeah, look, it's fantastic. It's great, and I think just have something to look forward to in the evenings, and just you can plan your weekends around it nearly. And as you say, to kind of preview the games and talk about it, Aaron, because I'm flat out kind of talking to the players and talking about their stories. But like I think I was saying a lad was saying to me yesterday, it'd be great. I come on for podcasts, but it'd be great if we could preview the games and stuff, and I could fully understand where he's coming from, and kind of just something to talk about. A bit of camaraderie again, and as me and you said weeks ago to each other, there's only so much soccer you can watch, and obviously with this Super League coming in and going out and coming in, and I don't know what's going on at the minute. It's great to GA back, and thank God the lads are back training, Aaron.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Like, and I suppose, yeah, like to have one or two games back, just so we can watch them live, react to them in the moment, speak about them, talk about the talking points, and I suppose all the crack and banter, I suppose, that goes with it as well, because there's a fair bit of that. Like, what have you missed the most even about not having the GEA around for the past couple of months? Like, is there anything in particular that maybe jumps out for yourself?
Everything, Aaron, really, like, because when you look back on it, like the last couple of years, our Januaries, our Februaries, late December's, March, all filled with National Football League. We're 4 months into 2021 and we've seen no GAR. And so it's been a massive switch to the system. We're all so used to going to the games on the Saturday night, the Sunday afternoons, and it's been a massive, massive miss. And, I really think, and I know, obviously referencing soccer again, but you'd be falling asleep during some of the games and they're just not exciting. So, we're really just clutching on to it at this stage, Aaron. And yeah, God, I during the first lockdown, I was off the opinion I'd nearly go to a junior D game at some point. So it was just getting that monotonous. But just that, and I suppose even just to talk to just to talk to you, my mates, anyone at all, just about the games, and it'll just be great till we're back in the swing of things. And it brings such good excitement, even for us, Aaron, our friends, everything, but even the older generation, Aaron, because obviously they're struggling as it is. They're all cocooning, they can't really leave their houses, and the 60s and the 70-year-olds of this generation, 80-year-olds even, they can't leave their houses. They can put their feet up on a Saturday night, Sunday evening, watch the Sunday games. It's even great for their generation as well, Aaron. And it's a ripple effect. It's going to benefit everyone, and thank God.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and hopefully anyway, like, with all things goes well and we can actually have a proper championship, a proper league, and obviously a club season as well, because I know it's been a long time really since a lot of club players have been back training and playing as well. Obviously we'll discuss the Cavan, of course, and we'll delve through the National League. But I wanted to ask you first, obviously the draw that came out for the Ulster Championship, drawing Tyrone in the first game. I mean, that's quite the draw for yourselves, being paired up with Tyrone. I mean, if for Tyrone fans watching, I'm sure they're quite annoyed, because obviously they were paired up with Donegal last year. But that's quite the draw for Cavan first day out.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And like, I got a serious amount of text saying, "Oh God, first round knockout and everything." I actually think it's an amazing draw. It's a great draw for us because, and people might think I'm mad for saying that, but it's reality. Like, the fact that we've been watching so long, it's a great draw because, like I was saying to you before, we're so far better off getting Tyrone, because this crack of getting likes of Antrim, Fermanagh, teams we probably would beat at this stage. If we got them on again, that'll just be boring. So it's great to get Tyrone. We know exactly where we're at. The lads will absolutely cherish it. Look, if we beat them, we've a fantastic chance of winning Ulster again. There's so much hype and talk with this Tyrone team. All the pressure will be on them. The pressure will be on Brian Dewar and Fergal Logan. Lots of players coming in. So we'll go into it. I think the lads will cherish it. And yeah, it'll be a great occasion. And I think we really, really should approach it with open arms, because no better test. Tyrone, we know what they're like. New management team. So like, I'm really looking forward to it. I think it was a great draw. And I can't wait.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's going to be a very interesting one. All right, I suppose getting Tyrone on the first day out as well. It's probably a great time to get them because you even seen with yourselves last year when you played Monaghan first out, like you were straight out of the blocks. Obviously, a little bit slow starting in that game and came back into it. But I suppose for Cavan in general, from what I seen last year and even the year before, you seem like a team that benefits quite a lot from playing the so-called bigger teams in Ulster. Whereas compared, when you played Antrim, I suppose that was kind of a bit of a dull affair altogether. What do you think yourself?
Yeah, like that's exactly like we will benefit from playing this Tyrone team because if they are what everyone's talking about, like we pit ourselves against the best. I think as you were saying, we do. I know, okay, we came up against the Dubs and like everyone's been taught a lesson against them, but we really cherished the occasion against Donegal. We done really well against them. We done really well against a good down team, a great Monaghan team to start off. So I keep saying it. It's a fantastic, fantastic test. Mickey Graham, we know all about him. He'll absolutely cherish it. He'll always has a few tricks up his sleeve, which I have no doubt he will for this Throne team. And it's a really exciting task. And it'll be one they'll have absolutely no problem getting up for as well, Aaron. And yeah, it's hopefully great excitement around the county because we shouldn't be hiding away from it. I don't think there should be fans saying, right, oh God, first round knockout. I really think it's a great chance to see where Cavan are at, see where these lads are at, and let's see if last year was if it was a hiccup. Let's see if last year we can back it up. It's a great opportunity, Aaron, and I think the lads should really, really be looking forward to it.
Absolutely, yeah. Like I suppose, obviously, you are the Ulster champions, and I suppose people shouldn't forget that. Like obviously beating Donegal last year, beating Monaghan, coming back against Down. Do you think even as well, like, because even you made the final in 2019 as well, which I think some people are forgetting. Like, do you think even you could even be going into, I suppose, a bit of a golden era for Cavan, maybe kind of similar to what Monaghan kind of done in the start of the decade where they won two Ulsters, got to an All Ireland semi final, and maybe Roscommon a bit as well, a bit like them. Do you think even we could be going into that now for Cavan over the next maybe 3 to 5 years?
Well, look, I'd like to think so, and I think success breeds success. And to stick at something and to be good at something, you need to be continuously doing and be good at it. The thing is, I suppose, with it, it's different again this year with the knockout. So like it's the last chance to lose. So if you lose, you're gone. If you win, on you go. So hopefully, I'd like to think we are building something. Mickey Graham, obviously, he's a great background team there with Dermot and Marty Curry, and we have the tools in place. So I'd like to think so because in fairness, that Ulster final first time in 24 years. We haven't been in the doldrums. We haven't been there. So if there was a county that did deserve that bit of a push, Monaghan, as you said, got it, Donegal in the last few years. So we do deserve it. I think we need to keep that panel of players around. We've always had a big overturn of players. So it's so imperative we actually keep that panel of players. The one thing I probably would say is though, I don't Conor Moyne and Darren McPheety are still in the travels, massive players for us. So I don't know when they'll be back. It could be next year with all this COVID going on. So we seem to have the same panel of players as last year, and it'd be great if this generation really could lead Cavan football on for the next couple of years because. Like I said, for the panel of players that we had last year, there was no individuals. There's a good team of hard workers, and very exciting times for Cavan football.
And I suppose Division 3, you're in there with Derry, Longford, and Fermanagh. I suppose from an outsider looking in, I suppose a lot of people would probably have Cavan as the obvious favourites, I suppose, to get promotion. What do you reckon yourself?
Yeah, look, it's funny. I was writing down the notes. It's so imperative we get out from Division 3 straight away because look, at the end of the day, we probably are a Division 1, Division 2 team. And look, it's so funny. We win an Ulster title and we're Division 3. So, but then you're naming some good teams. Fermanagh and the likes are in Division 3. So it's not there to be laughed at. It's obviously a division you don't want to be staying for too long. I think for Cavan's progression and as you said, to keep this generation going, we need to be in the likes of Division 2 and Division 1 to be competing against the best teams. So I think it's imperative that we go straight back up. A good league campaign is very important to have a good Ulster Championship, and yeah, we really need to hit the ground running when things go back to normal or when games do start again, Aaron, because we need to take the league seriously because them Cavan lads won't want to be in Division 3, and there was obviously huge disappointment when we were relegated. So I think we should use the disappointment when we were relegated last year. We should use that as an incentive to go straight back up, and I've no doubt the Cavan lads have plans in place to go straight back up, Aaron, because you can't be in that division if you want to compete at the top level.
Hmm. Yeah, I suppose like it is interesting how he's ended up in Division 3, like you were kind of alluding to it there, Ulster champions, and I suppose it's kind of ironic that Tip, Munster champions are in the other group. And I was having a look actually back through like just some of the results from last season in Division Two, like, and you had that defeat to Clare, which was one that kind of stood out. Like, what do you think it was even in that Division Two campaign? Do you think maybe you were trying different players out, you were testing different things out ahead of the championship, or do you think maybe it was just very very competitive? And I suppose maybe it was because there certainly wasn't a lot in it, especially going into that last day of the season.
Yeah, definitely. Like it was a very competitive division last year, and it's mad. Only in the last few minutes that was first common game. A lot of us only found out we actually kind of got relegated after the game, so it's really devastation. But look, it was a very tight division last year, and some games we really did have a lot of hiccups. And I think I can remember that Westmeath game I went to it. I think it was a really dull first half, and probably one of the worst first halves I've really seen from a Cavan team. So I think the league was just probably, if you're to think about it, and I don't know if Mickey if he'd say this, but I don't think he treated the league too seriously last year. And look what happened. Okay, got relegated, but I think he put all his emphasis into the championship. Okay, look what happened, won an Ulster championship, but I think we do need to really start treating the league with the care and respect that it does deserve, because it's a good platform. A lot of teams use it. You see teams over the years having a good league campaign and then having a good championship. So it was competitive, but I think we really need to, like as I said a couple of minutes ago, we need to hit the ground running. And just a few dodgy games. You saying Clare shouldn't be beating us at home. That's a fact. We should not be getting bet with Clare. Only getting over the line against Westmeath. Westmeath are good, but we really should. I know you've obviously family in Westmeath, so I don't want to say
it's no worries at all. Like it's it'd be perfectly fine to get delay straight into them.
Yeah, more abuse. But look, we there was a few hiccups last year, but I really think, but when you do kind of look at it too, there is, as you were saying, Fermanagh, Derry, they're good teams, and I know we've had a lot of success over against Fermanagh in recent years, but Derry, they could be a sticky team as well. So it'll be interesting to see how we get on, but it's imperative we go straight back up.
Yeah, and I think you're playing Derry in the first game as well, so that'll be an interesting one as well, because Derry would probably be the team you'd imagine to join you, I suppose. I know Longford had a very good campaign the season previous, and Fermanagh kind of seem to be a bit on the slide at the moment. Looking at the other group though, obviously, like if you are to finish top, you'll probably play the set. Well, you will play the team that finishes second in the other group, and you've got Tip in there, Offaly, Wicklow, Limerick. How do you see that group playing out?
Yeah, again, Tipperary are Munster champions and they're in Division 4, so it just goes to show, are a lot of managers kind of putting a lot of emphasis on the championship? Like, is the league really just becoming something just to kind of play and nearly forget about, and is the championship just becoming so important? And like, Tipperary won't want to be in Division 4, like they will want to go straight back up, there's no doubt about that, and they'll want to have another good Munster campaign, as we were alluding to a couple of weeks ago. So like I can see themselves going up. And Division 4, like Mickey Hart's loud there as well. Mickey Hart will be mad to make an impression. He'll want to go back, or he'll want to go up straight up from there as well. I think there's a lot of work to do with the loud team as well. I've seen he was taking training the other day. Maybe I'd say he was impressed with the lads, but it's a big task for him. Can he get back up? And I'll tell you what, thank God we're not in Division 4, because it's just not where you want to be either, Aaron,
Yeah, I suppose it is very competitive, all right. Like you've Leitrim, Sligo, and I think Antrim in the group with Louth, so that'll be very competitive indeed. I think that'll probably be one of the closest divisions, I'd imagine, between the four, because you could really put any team really to get promoted. Like, do you think there'll even be many changes in the Cavan panel? Do you think this season, or do you think you'll more or less kind of go with the same kind of team to what you had last year?
I think it'd be very, very similar, Aaron. There was talk of a fella called Cavan O'Reilly coming back into the Cavan team, and a few Rammer lads apparently. So I think it'll be very, very much the same. I think what we have, we'll hold. There's no retirements. There's a lot of young lads in that Cavan team, nearly our age, really. I think there was maybe Marty Riley. I thought he might have packed his bags after the Ulster final, or that time we were bet by Dublin. He's all the intentions to stay on by the sounds of it. He's looked after himself and no bother to him. Ray Galligan and Martin Riley probably be the oldest lads in that team, and they look like they're all guns blazing. So I think what we have, we hold. I think no retirements, but I think Cavan O'Reilly, he was a very good player for us in 2019. I think he's back, and yeah, I think it seems to be a full clean bill of health. And it's good to see, because obviously we want to keep that panel, as you say, for the next couple of years. And it'll be very competitive. I'd say training's probably very nip and tuck, dog eat dog. And it'll be great to see lads putting on the Cavan jersey again, and having a passion to show on the blue and white as well. Because years ago, it was probably frowned upon to play for Cavan. We've had a lot of dark days and everything that with it. So exciting times again, and long may it continue, Aaron.
Yeah, and I suppose as well, like obviously you won that Ulster Championship last year. Like, what would you consider like as a success for Cavan this year? Like, what would be considered like a successful season? Because I suppose winning Ulster, I mean, it's going to be tough. Obviously, you can't do it every year. And would it be promotion and then kind of being as competitive as you can in Ulster? How would you kind of see it?
Well, I suppose you have to be internal optimists when it comes to football, but I think a good league campaign going up from Division 3, that's absolutely imperative for starters, going straight back up. And probably, look, Tyrone, okay, it is a massive task, but I keep saying it's one we really should attack and enjoy. And I think, as you say, like, be competitive, but go out, have the confidence in yourself that, okay, yes, we won an Ulster Championship last year, we got to an Ulster final in 2019. We can compete against these lads. We can beat them. So beating Tyrone, having confidence in ourselves to get to that top level, and we can get there. We've got there, and even go out and try again. Like, who's to say we can't win another Ulster title? It'd be absolutely fantastic. It'd be the similar scenes again if we won an Ulster Championship. It's still football. It's absolutely football mad up here. So I think another season like that, promotion. Get to another Ulster final. There's the sky's the limit. Why couldn't we? Definitely, if we can beat Tyrone, the sky's the limit after that, because there's so much talk about this Tyrone team. If we beat them, on we go. And why can't we get to the latter ends of All Ireland? Why can't we win an Ulster final after that? I think we get Donegal after. If we do beat Tyrone, I suppose that's a massive task as well. One the lads should look forward to. So yeah, try maintain the title. Try keep your hands on it. Get promotion and see where it takes us after that. And just have this sense of confidence, because the lads are capable of doing it. They've shown numerous times during last year's Ulster Championship. So sky's the limit.
Absolutely, yeah. Like, and I suppose you proved that last year as well, didn't you? When you went through the toughest route possible, really going through Monaghan down, and then obviously Donegal in the final. Like, it seemed like one of the toughest routes possible to the final. I suppose this year there's no real reason why you can't do it again. I mean, you certainly have the talent there, certainly have the young players, so it is going to be interesting, without doubt, how it pans out. But I suppose we'll kind of just run through some general predictions, and we'll have a look at Division 1. I mean, I suppose who in your opinion, out of the teams in Division 1, who is the most likely for you to win the league, do you think, in Division 1?
Well, you can't really look beyond your good county yourself, the Dubs. Look, it's hard to see bias, really. Obviously, Dublin and Kerry. I think there's huge pressure on Kerry this year, I feel, to perform. Last year, massive disappointment. I think there's massive pressure on them, really. The Dubs will come back, that like they always do. I think they'll put the pressure on themselves to have a good league campaign, especially after kind of get caught with the trend. They'll be mad to hit the ground running as well. And the Dubs and Kerry, and I suppose them two teams really are the teams we're probably all banking on to save the All-Ireland series, Aaron, as well, because who's going to beat the Dubs? There's so much pressure on top with this Kerry team. Will they deliver? Can they deliver? This is the year to see it, because Peter Keane, I think was a Kieran Whelan, who said to me a couple of weeks ago, is it an unhappy camp at the minute? We'll see what the crack is this year. David Clifford, I'm presuming Australia's surely coming knocking for him. He's staying around, so will he have a big impact this year? I seen there's retirement in the Kerry panel there as well. What's his name again?
Peter Crowley, I think.
Peter Crowley retired, so some of the old guard leaving, but it's imperative to keep some of them boys on board. So Division 1, really looking at it, I can see Dublin probably really going head for leather again this year, because I think that a few weeks ago would give them serious motivation to maybe prove a lot of people wrong and say, right, we weren't really messing around in lockdown. I know lads might be doing individual training, but they'll be mad to hit the ground running. Probably shut everyone up again, Aaron, because Dublin football at the minute, everyone's talking about that training breach and not nearly about the success they've had in the last couple of years. So they will be absolutely, and you know yourself, mad to shut everyone up again and probably win the league this year.
Yeah, I think I have a very sneaky feeling Dublin will win the league this year as well, and I'm not just saying that as a Dublin fan. I think in previous years I've kind of said, like, there's been numerous times where Dublin have made numerous amounts of changes because they're bringing through the younger lads and different bits and bobs. I don't even see the panel changing that much this year, and I think as well with what you said, with the amount of outrage from journalists and media and everything, really, like, they almost covered it more than what the success of Dublin have achieved over the past few years. They spoke about that more, so I'm sure it definitely riled them up, and Desi Farrell as well, I'd say.
Yeah, like, and that's probably what I'm at least not a point regarding that Dublin success. There was nearly more media coverage about what they'd done than the 6 in a row or the 5 in a row, because I was saying to a couple of mates a few weeks ago, you wouldn't want to do anything wrong in this country because, like, the media coverage that Dublin lads got absolutely stated. Like, I thought it was a joke at start, but like, front page of the Irish Independent, off the ball news talk absolutely jumped on it. They made about 5 or 6 shows out of it, talking about it. At the end of the day, in my eyes, lads going around for a bit of a kickabout, whereas in Phoenix Park, Stephen's Green, you've ones drinking the heads of themselves, meeting in 6s and 7s. Gang of lads can't kick a ball around the field, and it just, I don't really get the logic at the minute. It's just a bit flawed. So yeah, like, in the media coverage towards it was just astonishing, and like, you're following a lot of Dublin lads on the internet. I don't know, a lot of them just kind of. I see Brian Fenton's working on some wee carpool at the minute, or he's working on some wee project himself. They're all in their own wee world and bubble again. And look at Brian Fenton and the likes, they've won it all, and they've nearly got to a stage whereas whatever happens now happens, because we've won it all, we've done it all, and they're probably just they're laughing at the rest of us are.
Yeah, like, I think it's the fuel as well to light the fire, I suppose, because when you've won 6 All Irelands in a row, and you've won the amount of Leinsters and the amount of leagues and everything else, and Fenton's never lost a game, and then all of a sudden you see all this outrage on the news. And look, listen, obviously there's rules there for a reason. They shouldn't have broke them, but I do think, like you said, at the same time, like, it is kind of mad how we're putting all these little rules in place, and you can do this but you can't do that, and I don't understand all of it myself, so I'm not going to go into too much details on it, but it's it is a bit mad. But I suppose, getting back to the football, who do you reckon will get relegated then in that case from Division 1? I suppose Armagh and Monaghan on one side, and then obviously on the other side, I suppose Roscommon would probably be the obvious kind of team that most people would think of, I suppose.
Yeah, like, I suppose regarding that, I'd probably, if I was to pick 2 teams, it probably would be Armagh and Roscommon, because Monaghan always had this knack of staying up on the last day. I think everyone's following closely. They've always this knack of saving themselves in the last seconds or last game. Regarding Armagh, if always talk about Armagh, I've said this in numerous podcasts yourself, always talk about Armagh. We'll see what they're like this year in Division 1. Will they get relegated? Will they stay up? It's important for them to stay up. Further progression, we'll see where they're at. And it'll be very interesting to see what Kieran McGeeney does with them. Roscommon going up after last year, that'll give them a great sense of confidence. Stevie Poacher's gone up to coach with them as well, so he'll be mad to make an impression. So if they can maintain their Division 1 status, they'd be in with a shout to win Connacht as well. So lots of good teams in Division 1. The standard's gone up, and God, after winning Ulster, it's mad not to be involved there,
Yeah, it is very interesting, all right, because you've got 4 teams in the one group in Ulster, and not one of them are the Ulster champions. It is kind of an interesting way it's panned out. I suppose our good friends Mayo, they're in Division 2. How do you reckon they'll get on?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Right, I just sipped my mouth for this.
Yeah, I kind of led you into that one there a bit.
Yeah, absolutely did. Geez, you dubs.
We're all the same.
But yeah, Mayo. Mayo will probably go up again, I would well imagine. Look, they're not a Division 2 team at the end of the day. Lots of good players, Aidan O'Shea, lots of retirements, which probably will affect them going into the new year. You need experience to win titles, and a lot of them boys have bowed out. I can see them going up. Like ourselves, they'd be mad to go up to Division 1 straight again and get out of Division 2. So I could see them going up, and no problem with it, because at the end of the day, they want to be winning All Ireland titles, Connacht titles, Division 1, for that kind of crack. is the place to be. And yeah, I can see them going up probably with no problem, really. A few teams might give them a few headaches, but realistically, if Mayo are the team everyone talks about, they should really be going straight back up, Aaron, you know?
Yeah, I suppose they're in there with Down, Westmeath and Meath. So Meath might cause them a couple of problems in the first game, just with the fact that Mayo will probably have an inexperienced back line. But yeah, you'd have to feel that they'd surely have enough against the likes of Down and Westmeath to at least get in the top two, and then navigate their way from there. So yeah, look, listen, it's gonna be interesting how it all does pan out across all the four divisions. Definitely going to be keeping a close eye on Cavan as well, because hopefully they do come up to Division 2, because I was only thinking there as well, like because you've Down, Westmeath, Mayo and Meath in one group, and could you imagine if you had Cavan in there instead of Down? I mean, that would have been very competitive.
I absolutely are, absolutely. And I think, look, we are a very proud footballing county, and there's no doubt about that. So to be in probably Division 3, it's nearly like a bit of a kind of come down after probably winning Ulster and having such a good year last year. So that's exactly what I mean. We need to go straight back up, and we need to be competing with the big dogs to maintain high standards. We need to play in teams of a similar standard, and we really should be going back up. And I'm really looking forward to it getting started. We need to hit the ground running straight away. There can't be any blips like last year. We can't be losing at home to bog standard teams. We have to be confident in our own ability, which I've no doubt the lads will be. But we just have to take every game seriously, which the lads will. Mickey will have to just really get the lads knuckle down and train hard, and can't be any F-ups, and we really need to attack the year with the ground running, Aaron.
Absolutely, John. Well, look, listen, I appreciate you jumping on, and I'll link down the Jmac podcast as well for anyone who wants to check it out. So, yeah, appreciate your time.
No problem at all, Aaron. Take care.